Those were the days before the national curriculum. I was my own boss. I remember really enjoying teaching.
I did used to enjoy making things and researching things for the job. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed teaching. Last week, my friend was observed teaching a lesson. She was observed. She was observed. She's been teaching at that school for 20 years now. She's deputy head. Head teachers come and go because it's a stepping stone to bigger and better schools. And when a new head leaves, she acts up. When a new head arrives, she acts down again. She's achieved a fantastic amount when she's acting up. She brought in a behaviour policy. She got the parents on side. She brought the school back from the dead after the last headmaster. He spent a lot of time in bed with the deputy chair of governors. She gives up an awful lot of her own time. She brings in assemblies, parents' evenings, school trips, assemblies, you name it. She never leaves before 6. She's not a grumpy old teacher. She loves her job. She's a perfectionist. There's a group of us who go walking. We used to go 10 miles or so. Now it's 5, guaranteed pub stop, all the latest walking aids. And my friend brings a cake. She's daughter to a confectioner, granddaughter to a master chef, no less. And on the walk she tells us everything that went into the cake, how she made it. One of our party doesn't like nuts, but if the recipe calls for nuts, there are nuts. No concessions are made. My friend's looking forward to retirement. School isn't her life. She has hobbies. She plays the violin, the piano. There's a son she adores. She wants to visit Australia. So she's delighted when a new head is appointed. I'll give him all the help I can, she says. I don't want him going off sick. Last time she acted up, she got terrible migraines. She had to go off sick herself. So she takes him round the neighbourhood, she introduces him to the parents, she explains all the local quirks. And everybody loves the new head. He asks her to stay on an extra term, even though she can retire at the end of this one. The Board of Governors agree. They think it's well worth the expense because they've got a head that everybody likes. And then a small group of parents take against the new head. And the LEA does not back him up. And he's off sick. Stress. And they bring in a new head because my friend says she can't face acting up again. And now she is observed. Who observes her? I'm reading this book about Stalinist Russia. The heroine has to take the correct line. She must not make an error while she is teaching. Is she promoting the party line? Is she interpreting the state directives correctly? Who will inform on her if she's wrong? In this world, everybody is looking over their shoulder. They're afraid of the men in the black vans who come knocking at the door in the middle of the night. Of course, we don't live in a Stalinist state. Ours is a democracy. We have no secret police who take us for interrogation in the middle of the night. But who observed my friend? Who interprets our state directives? Who can say, your teaching is not up to standard, you have failed. In this lesson, the children are not achieving the targets. Who has the authority to undermine, destroy teachers' lives on a single observation, crack the faith they have in themselves and their own life's work? No, we do not have squads of thugs who disappear people. We are a democracy. The actions of our elected heads are transparent.
I can remember doing a topic on shells. We counted shells, we looked at tortoises, we looked at all sorts of seashells. We looked at snails, we did observational drawings of shells, painted shells and everything. We made shell necklaces, we made shell collages. We hatched chicks out of shells.
No, I'm not grumpy. I love teaching. Just love it. It's the children that make it for me. I just love working with children. Mind you, I do only work part-time. It gives me space to do the things I want. I do a lot of art. I love working with art and children. Art and music. Oh, and of course I love gardening. I do a lot of stuff like that after school. Children really love it. And all the parents here are so supportive. And they're interested in what the children are doing. They're not pushy parents. Not like I imagine that lot up at Enfield are. No, it's great. I couldn't cope with pushy parents. And the staff, well, they're all lovely. They're all so supportive and we get on well and we've all got a sense of humour, so we do have a laugh. Mind you, I do get extremely tired. So tired. And then there's the headaches. Sometimes they go on for days at a time. This class that I've got at the moment, it could be weeks at a time. They're so lively. I try to get them to sit down and be quiet. I say, come on now, everybody, let's sit down and be peaceful and be quiet. But it doesn't work. Not with this lot I've got at the moment. They're at you from the minute you walk into the classroom. You've got to give 100%. It's not something I can do half-heartedly. And you're there in that classroom all day without a break. You've got to be there. I love it. I really do love it. I love teaching. Mind you, I've only been doing it for 10 years. I don't think I could have done it for my whole life. I think I'd have got burnt out. I can already see when I go on courses, things getting repeated. And I think, oh, that old chestnut again. No, I don't think I could have done it for my whole career. It might have driven me mad. I hear these younger teachers come in and say things like, do you know children can learn through play? And I think, yes. These ideas they come in with, it's as if it's the first time anybody's thought of anything like that. This is not you. I can feel myself going on a bit like that sometimes. I suppose I'm getting a bit sceptical. I do think people get sceptical and worn out. That's why I went part-time. There's one teacher here, brilliant teacher. She petrifies me. She's good at planning, differentiation, setting and achieving targets, and making worksheets. Before I went part-time, I shared a year group with her. She'd do the planning for the numeracy, and I'd do it for the English. And she'd come in with her photocopied planning and sets of worksheets and plonk them on my desk. These are for the top group, these are for the middle group, these are for the bottom group, and these are for the no-hopers, to keep them quiet. Oh, and this is the extension activity. I don't like using worksheets. I think the children get bored, and my class is not like hers. I think sometimes they're a waste of paper. Sometimes the children don't need to record their work on paper. They like to develop their own methods. But she'd say, oh, you've got to show you've covered the curriculum. You've got to show that you've done the work. You've got to show evidence of the children's achievements. You've got to cover your back. When I came back to my class, having been away for 6 months, the supply teacher had been teaching them. And you know, all the cupboards and drawers and shelves were covered in piles, reams and reams of worksheets. I wasn't the only one who was overwhelmed by it. As people get older, they present things in different ways. Quieter, calmer ways, in a different style. Not me. I'm a bit manic. I can't see myself getting quieter in my old age. I rush around so much I can't keep up with myself sometimes. And I do get so physically tired. And then there's those headaches.
The spontaneity of the job has gone. Things have changed in this neighbourhood. It's gone downhill a bit. Yes, I suppose I do look forward to retirement.
During the SATs, we did a week on bullying. What is it, and why do we not tolerate it in schools? I thought to myself, hang on a minute, what are we doing to the children when we are doing the SATs?
On Bill's wedding day, she was the perfect mother of the bride. Big brimmed hat, an elegant black and white floral dress, the pattern picked out by a lovely white lily boutonniere. She looked the part. "I've been sacked," she said through her smile, as she greeted me and the other guests outside the church. "They've got rid of us." I didn't have a chance to talk to her about it until a few days later, when all the fuss of the celebration was over. She and her job share had been chosen to be the redundant ones. Having scored the fewest points, they were the least useful members of the staff. It had all been done very fairly. Everybody had to fill in a form stating why and how they contributed to the running of the school. "Well, you must have scored highly in that," I said. "Not really. We haven't been on many courses." "Well, what about the residential weekends at Worlow Farm with those challenging classes year after year?" "Oh, I didn't mention that." "And what about the fact that you've been running the parent library for the past 10 years? They said that didn't count. "And what about how you cover for each other when one of you can't work? What about the fact that you've been there 16 years and respected by the parents and the children, that you've seen successions of year twos through to SATs? What about all those curriculum training days and meetings you've attended in your own free time?" "Well, that goes without saying, really. There wasn't space on the form to put any of that down. I didn't realise you had to do all that." No advice was offered about how to fill in the form. Being of that generation, they were naturally hesitant, not used to blowing their own trumpets. But it wouldn't have made much difference, really. They had probably been singled out from the beginning when the new head started. A job share, they were expensive. The school had to pay double national insurance contributions. Near the end of their careers, they were high on the pay scale. Now the LA says, "Don't worry, we'll find you a new job. You just look through, see what you fancy. We'll send you a bulletin every week. Apply, you're guaranteed an interview." Redeployment is the answer everyone favours. The LA wouldn't have to fork out redundancy pay, and the head would have a clear conscience because her employees would simply be moving on to another placement. Paula and Annette would have a new job. But she says, who in their right mind would want us? Anyway, she doesn't really want to work anywhere else, not after that. She knew the school and the staff, she knew the area, the families, the children. She knew where she fitted in. But after that, after being told she wasn't wanted, she didn't think she could work anywhere else. They both tried. Their last interview experience was over 16 years ago when they'd got the job at this school. Things have moved on. Systems have changed, become almost formulaic. You have to know the jargon. Previous employment experience had not recognised their successes or achievements, so they were not inspired with the confidence or self-assuredness that was demanded in job specifications. After each interview, the staff at Personnel would encourage them to just apply for one more job or just one more interview. But they didn't prepare them or support them. They were left to their own devices. Now, she says, I feel totally useless. All I've known is teaching. I look at other people in high-powered jobs and feel like I've achieved nothing in my life. I spent a lot of time looking after the children and the parents and felt that part-time was something that suited me, even though sometimes it felt like more than part-time. And now I've got nothing to show for it. Now when people ask her what she does, she just says nothing.
I feel I do not hold the respect that I had before. My opinions and views don't seem to count now. They tended to be, let's be honest about this, resistant to change. They were really struggling to move things forward.
I sometimes think we are turning children into some sort of nocturnal creatures with large square eyes, with all the curtains drawn.
I used to work in a bank before I came here. That was over 15 years ago, mind you. I had quite a good job. Because I'm very good at maths, I can compute things very quickly. I have that sort of brain. When it came to promotion, though, the bank manager said to me, I'm not going to promote you because I think you make a good teacher. He told me to get out of banking and get off to teacher training college. I don't know why. Maybe he thought I was bossy or something. But it was the best thing anyone's ever done for me. I love it. It's so rewarding. I love seeing the children making progress. I'm quite demanding, you know. But I always want them to do their best. Nothing else is good enough, really. What makes me really mad is that we just don't have enough resources. I have to plan and work with Jackie over there. Bless her. We have to split all the resources between us. I do the planning and getting all the worksheets prepared. Well, she's a bit slow these days. And her class is a nightmare. Mind you, I do have one girl in my class. Well, to put it bluntly, she's thick. Thick as two short planks. I've had all the support agencies in trying to help her, but they say she's working to capacity and just to carry on with what I'm doing. I ask you. She hasn't moved on to even level 1 with her reading yet. And as for maths, well, forget it. She's a lazy madam and just won't work. And she's been with me for nearly 2 years now. It's affecting my results. No one helps her at home, and she has 3 siblings, all with different fathers. So with a home background like that, what can you expect? Mind you, it's a bit like that in this neighbourhood. Rough. Every morning when I park my car in the school car park, I remove the distributor head to immobilise it. And I put on the steering lock and set the alarm. People say to me, it's only a Ford Escort, who'd want to steal that? But I can't take the risk. It's awful round here. No respect. When we were doing weather last term, we put rain gauges outside on the window ledge. And when we came to check them in the morning, they were full of wee. I ask you, what sort of warped mind would think of that? It was different with the other head. She was useless. But she left you alone. Let you get on with your own things. Let you just do it. This one's so intrusive. In and out of your business all the time. Not in a supportive way. You feel as if you're being judged all the time. And I don't like that because, well, I know I do a good job. And I'm very proud of my class and what we do in this school. We manage to do a lot despite everything. I can't stand it when teachers complain about their jobs. In the private sector, it's much worse.
And heads come in and want to make a few changes, you know, in staffing.
No one seems to recognise how much I have contributed over the years. It is not that I don't want to do new things, that I am not open to new ideas. It's that they are not new. it has been done before and it didn't work the first time.
Don't ask Jill. They always say it in that tone of voice. Don't ask Jill, she won't volunteer for the barbecue or the school disco or whatever. We don't see much of Jill. She has her coffee in the special needs room. She's the one who coordinates all the SEN staff, meets with the parents, stuff like that. She does come to staff meetings, but she's off at 4:30 on the dot, no matter what. Says she doesn't like to miss countdown. Mind you, I'll say this for her, she does these good work assemblies. Praise, that's the key, she says. Talks about the kids' work as if it was Michelangelo. And the naughty kids actually seem to get visibly taller when she does it. Suppose you could call her a bit of a saint, really. But she does wear an Elvis watch. Well, she moved up near us and she started giving me a lift into work. We get there really early, 7:30. The caretaker was just opening up. And when I got in the car, she'd always turn off Radio Sheffield because she's really polite. And we'd talk, weather and stuff. And then one day I asked her about the Elvis watch. Well, I was shocked. She said she used to go to the Rocky Horror Show in hot pants and suspenders. And one of those tops. More than once. I was shocked when she said she used to read the magazines under her son's bed, you know, the kind of thing. Just to be sure, she said. And she laughed. I was shocked when she described one of the challenging kids in my class as a little shit. I was shocked when she said she had these pains in her chest. And she'd been to the hospital and had x-rays, doctors, the whole lot. And they couldn't find anything wrong with her. Her husband had gone 20 years ago when the kids were really small. Spent most of his time with other women anyway. Good riddance, she said. Her daughter's an accountant now. Legs up to here. She got stopped on the motorway for driving with her thumb in her mouth. Her son once saw an alien spaceship at Bent's Green. Boy racer he was. This girl, well, she took advantage of him really, got herself pregnant, and neither of them had any money, so they moved in with her. And all her salary went on nappies and cots, and Madam spent hers on Burberry booties and silver photo frames. I can't wait to retire, she says. 3 years I'll be on a beach, pina colada, bikini. Hunky waiter, can I get you anything at all, madam? That'll be me, she says. Just 3 more years. 3 more years of this shit.